A growing business, one where people are buying your products and services consistently, is one that is consistent, right? It's one that you're consistently meeting the expectations that people have for the solution that you're providing. So it's just not good enough to get 5 stars or kudos on reviews from your trusted network. That's not going to get you to the consistency that's going to allow you to grow um, in a scalable way, right? It's that repeatable nature that's really important in designing your solution so that it gets easier and easier as you get more and more customers because you're constantly refining the process or the customer journey with your product or service. And that way, it just creates a more and more smooth experience. And that's really the essence of your product evolution. So what you're really trying to get to with your early customers is figuring out where the potholes are. Where are there consistent experiences and where are there inconsistent experiences that you can improve upon? And so this is just a framework that I use that I find super helpful. Someone taught it to me when I was a lot younger, but basically they said cheaper, faster, better, pick two. And what that means is that when you're often designing your first product or solution out of cheaper, faster, better, you're often picking two, right? My product is cheaper and faster. So maybe you're sacrificing quality a little bit. If you're faster and better, then maybe you're a bit more expensive. And then finally, if you're better and cheaper, maybe it just takes a little bit longer for the customer to see results. So think about it a little bit that way. And here's a actual education example where let's say someone wants to develop a new app that can help run PLCs better. Well, maybe it's faster to set up the PLCs and organize people into teams and such. But perhaps just because you're focused on the app, you couldn't invest in the content. And so maybe it's lower quality in the content or just less resources in the content. And then the question would be, is it cheaper because you're paying for the app or just doing it manually? And so you're looking at the cheaper, better, faster components of that as you're thinking about the actual app and how to get people to utilize your product and understand the value that it brings. Depending on the stage you're at with your product or service and where you are with the lean canvas and your thoughts around your business, your go-to-market strategy timelines will vary between one person and the other. So what I would recommend is as you start building this, share it in the education to entrepreneur community. I could give you direct feedback. Kawhi could give you direct feedback. Your peers will give you feedback on it. But that's how you're going to get the personalized feedback before you even take it out to your trusted circle, because we're a set of like-minded folks in the community that all want to help each other get their products to market, because I truly believe that the products that you're going to come up with will dramatically improve education as a whole. So with that said, let's just kind of talk about very, very high level this timeline of you start to, you finalize your go-to-market strategy. The next milestone after that is you getting your first, second, third, fourth customer, right? And the first one is the most exciting, but it's typically the easiest. And then there's a lot of refinement that happens between your first and your second, third, fourth, because what you'll find is that in the beginning, because your networks are pretty small and the number of people you could contact, you're going to find people with slightly different needs, but you're going to get good feedback for it. And so you're going to continue to try to get those first 1 through 4 customers. And then from that, you're going to refine your go to market strategy again, because you're going to realize that as you're implementing things also and delivering the work, you're going to realize that there are other things you could have said that would improve your go to market, or you're finding out that there's a root problem that you didn't really think about that you really want to focus on in your marketing. And so that's how this kind of works. It's kind of a design cycle, right? It's very cyclical in nature. And then you get to the 10th customer, and then of that, you're starting to see certain patterns across your customer base of, what's working, what's resonating, both on the sales side and on the implementation side. And quite frankly, like as an entrepreneur, you're just constantly in the cycle of trying to improve and tweak your product. I mean, the companies that we all love are companies that are constantly releasing new versions of the product. And sometimes you might be like, I don't see a lot of difference between iPhone 15 and iPhone 16. Well, there is an incremental difference in certain features because they're studying what features people really utilize. And so that's why we've seen such dramatic increases in just the camera feature, because that's a feature that, people pretty much use their phones for cameras more than anything else. It completely replaced the whole industry. And so you could see why they're investing so heavily in certain things like that, and editing tools and all the peripherals that go around it. So it's the same thing with your product. You're going to end up seeing that certain things are really just, the right product market fit. And those are the things you're going to continue to invest in and make better to increase the unique value proposition and the differentiation that your product does offer. So to wrap up here, your homework is to execute on your go-to-market plan, get your first customer. Let's celebrate your first customer in the education to entrepreneur community. I'd love to hear when you land your first customer, what you did to land your first customer. Those stories will inspire other entrepreneurs in the network.